Every single day working as a physical therapist, I always see older people who have this huge spectrum of musculoskeletal complaints. Now, this could be something as simple as muscle weakness or joint pain and stiffness. Whatever it is, they all have something going wrong that I believe is largely preventable. If that same individual had taken much better care of themselves physically when they were much younger, they would likely have a lot less pain, a lot more mobility in their joints, and their overall quality of life would be much higher. Think about investing in your physical health like you would invest in your retirement savings. The younger you are when you start to invest, you will build compound interest over time so that when you finally retire, you have enough money to live off. Similarly, when you are young and you invest in your physical health, you will build up a lot more strength in your physical body that you can then use when you're older, but it would be much harder to build that strength when you're already old. So there are generally 4 different ways that we can invest in ourselves physically. The first is with strength training. Now, with any sort of strength training, obviously this includes things like lifting weights. What will happen is we'll get bigger and stronger muscles. Now, when I say bigger and stronger muscles, I'm not saying you have to become a bodybuilder. When you're 95 years old, if you are very weak, you can't stand up and even walk. Versus if you strengthen your muscles throughout your lifetime, you will maintain your ability to do that. Additionally, when we lift heavy weights, it will increase our bone strength, meaning that when we fall, it's basically inevitable in everybody. When you fall, you are less likely to break the hip or the shoulder or whatever you land on. The second thing that we can invest in is our cardiovascular health. Obviously, this will improve our heart health, but it'll also improve the circulation throughout our body. We can also invest in flexibility. Now, this is one that a lot of guys like to avoid or ignore for whatever reason, but it is debatably as important as the others because if we are lacking flexibility in one or more joints, whenever we move in a functional movement such as a squat, if your ankle's tight, that's going to affect your knees, it's going to affect your hips, it's going to affect your back. We will have compensations that will affect other joints, placing them at risk of injury. Now, the last thing that we can invest in is our stability and balance. This is one that young people generally don't even think about because we all feel like we have good balance. But then I'll see someone in the clinic who comes in their mid-50s, ask them to stand on one leg, and they're almost shocked that they can't do it. The reason is as we age, our balance gets worse and worse. So if you don't practice over time, you will eventually wake up and find yourself with bad balance, essentially being a fall risk. Now, many people already feel like they take care of themselves physically because they do one or more of these things. But if you're not addressing all 4 of them, at least to some degree, you are potentially not maximizing your physical function when you're older. Personally, I've spent a lot of time lifting weights and not stretching enough. Now, since I've become a physical therapist, I obviously know the value of maintaining flexibility in my joints. So that's something I'm trying to get back. But because I did a lot of lifting and not enough stretching, I have tightness in certain areas that I otherwise wouldn't have. So now I'm trying to regain that. So if you want to age as gracefully as possible and then maintain your physical function when you're older, you have to address these 4 areas: strength training, cardio, flexibility, and balance.